Hi everyone, I'm Mindy Eggen and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about one design trick that has really made a big difference in how my finished cards look. This is something that I'm a lot more conscious about now, and I love the way it pulls my card together, gives it more of a polished look, and I think once you start using it, you're going to feel the same way. So we're going to cover grounding shapes, what they are, why they work, and how to use them in your own cards. So, what exactly is a grounding shape? Basically, it's a simple shape, a rectangle, an oval, or a circle, or hexagon, even just a simple strip of pattern paper that you place under your focal point on your card. And the reason it works so well is that it gives your eye a place to land. Without it, your focal point can kind of feel like it's just floating. With it, everything looks intentional and complete. Before I get started, I do have some products that I wanted to quickly share with you. These cards that I'm creating today are a part of a blog hop with Pinkbrush Studio for their April 2026 release. And here's a look at some of the products that I have received that I will be playing with at a later date, but just wanted to share with you in case you're interested. And then these are the larger sets. It is a stamp stencil. Some of them have better press plates and a washi tape combo. You can purchase them separately so you can mix and match what you will want to use on your card projects. The other thing that I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video is the designed washi tape that coordinates with these stamp sets. So I'm going to be showing you how to use these in your card projects. They make it really quick and easy and create gorgeous cards. But I'm going to be experimenting with three different types of surfaces. I'm going to be using regular cardstock, which is what I would typically use, but I also wanted to play with acetate and vellum. One thing I have found super helpful is that after I open my package of washi tape is I take my label maker and I label it and place it in the inside of the roll. So that way down the road if I misplace these, I always know what set it belongs to. Some of these rolls of washi tape do have kind of a gold finishing touch to them, which make them even more magical on your cards. I'm going to start by cutting it down some cardstock. So here I have this is actually Nina 80-pound white cardstock. I also have acetate and vellum. And those were two that I had never done before with washi tape. So I thought it'd be a fun time to kind of experiment with it. The best way I found to use this is to trim my cardstock to 5.5 and leave it at 11 inches. That way I can get a full panel and a full strip of washi tape. So I'm doing that for each of these, the cardstock, acetate, and vellum. When you first open your roll of washi tape, you're going to see where there is a significant gap in between some of the designs, and that is really sectioning off an area. So I'm just slowly unrolling this to see where the gap is. Right there, I can see it's going to start with the bouquet of flowers and end with that arch. So I'm going to just trim that off. I'll actually place that on a piece of scratch cardstock later because I'm not going to waste that. And then I'm going to unroll this onto my cardstock. See how I have that nice grouping of images, and then there's going to be a gap in between. So I'm going to place that down. I'll trim off in between that gap so that way I have this nice panel and it fits all on that piece of cardstock. And then I'll just take my hand, rub over the top, and really push that down into the cardstock or onto the cardstock. The washi tape, I would say, is like semi-translucent. It's got a frosted look to it, so you are gonna see something behind there. I really should have tried maybe with colored cardstock. That would have been a really great experiment to show you how translucent it is. But you can see it does have that frosted look to it. This here I attached to vellum, so it's going to give it a very ethereal look to it. And then this last one here that I'm placing down is onto acetate. What's really nice about these sets is that they are going to be grouped on their dies as well. So you're going to be able to cut out multiples at the same time. I would do just one grouping at a time though. Some of the images do get pretty close to each other and you do not want your dies to touch or overlap because that can ruin your dies when running through the die cut machine. The other tip I want to share with you is when you are using your tape to hold the die in place, make sure that the tape is touching your die and the surface you're using, in this case, the cardstock. Any type of tape is not going to stick to that washi tape. So make sure it's touching the cardstock. Here's a closer look at some of those designs. I love the beautiful shiny gold trimming, or what I should say, outline of the flowers on the elements. And I really loved that bouquet that I showed you. Here's another one die cut. I believe that this one is a vellum. So it has that more ethereal look to it, very, very soft. And then the last one that I did was using the acetate. Full disclosure, I didn't really notice too much of a difference using the acetate. I just for purpose of ease in doing this, I would probably stick with the vellum. Now, these are all the pieces that I went ahead and die cut using the acetate, vellum, and cardstock. And these are going to look just amazing on a card, and they are really good for quick and easy cards. So, here's what I want you to understand about grounding. And honestly, once this clicks for you, you are going to start seeing it everywhere. A grounding shape is just a layer. It sits underneath your focal point and it gives it something to rest on. That's really all it is. And the reason it works so well is that it creates a visual separation between your focal point and your card base. So your eye knows exactly where to go when it looks at the card. Now, without it, your focal point kind of floats. It's just sitting on the card with nothing connecting it to the design, which can be okay too. And when you're adding that grounding layer underneath, even something really simple, the whole card just settles. It feels intentional, it feels finished. And the best part is that it works with any style of card making. It doesn't matter if you love clean and simple or you loved mixed media. Grounding shapes work across all of it. So if you've ever held up a finished card and thought something is just a little off, this is probably what it's missing. I'm really just going through right now, taking all of the images that I had die cut out and placing them over the shapes. Now, I did do some ahead of time as well on cardstock, so I always have these ready in my stash. What I'll do when I'm done is place all of these extras in a little baggie and then place them inside of their corresponding packaging. Now, something I want to mention because I think it trips a lot of people up. Your grounding shape does not have to be larger than your focal point. In fact, sometimes making it slightly smaller is what gives the card that extra bit of visual interest. So instead of your grounding shape framing the entire element, parts of your focal point, maybe a flower petal or some of the leaves, actually hang over the edge and bleed off of the shape a little bit. And what that does is creates movement. It makes the design feel less rigid, less boxy, and a little more organic. It gives the eye something to follow. So, if you find that your grounding shape is making your card feel a little too structured or a little too contained, try pulling it in just a bit and let some of your design elements spill over the edge. I think you're going to love what that does to the overall look of the card. It feels a lot more intentional, even though it's actually just really simple adjustment. So, one of the things I did for each of these cards is I pulled my card front color from the flowers themselves. So, if I'm working with some blue flowers, I'm going to use a similar blue for that card front. And that's really where all of that color coordination starts. And then my grounding image shape is white, which I love because it gives the focal point a really clean, crisp place to rest, and it lets all of that color on the card front show around the edges. And to add a little interest to that colored background, I took that same flower stamp that coordinates with the washi tape and stamped it directly onto the card front using a really similar shade of ink. So you get that tone on tone effect. And I just love this technique because it adds so much texture and depth without pulling your eye away from the focal point. It's subtle, but when you see it in person, you can really tell it's there. It just gives the background something to do instead of just being flat, plain panel. So the whole card feels more layered, more intentional, and it really all starts with just pulling that color straight from the flowers. If you're interested in any of the supplies that I'm using today, I am going to have them linked down below in the video description. Don't forget to check out my blog to join us for the blog hop. The colors that I chose for all of this is powder cardstock with sky blue ink, nectar cardstock with peach fuzz ink, and sea glass cardstock with mint ink. Before I start adhering anything to the front of the card projects, one last thing that I wanted to do is add a little bit more subtle texture to the background. Of course, this is totally optional, but I do love a nice white splatter. So I have some white acrylic speckle that I mixed with a little bit of water, and I'm going to add that to all of my backgrounds. For each of the panels, I will be popping up that grounding image. So in this case, the elongated oval, I will be popping them up with some foam tape behind each one. Then I'm going to place my elements together and start adhering them around, making sure that I have some of those pieces that are going to be hanging off of the edge. I was a little worried in some of the cases if my foam tape or my liquid glue would show through, but I did not see where it did. Now, these flowers that I'm using are the ones that I have on acetate. So I was really nervous about that one. I used a thin foam square behind it, just a few of them, and I really could not see them afterwards, not even in the finished picture. After I have those flowers in place, I finished it off with a sentiment that is from the Garden Grace stamp set. All of the sentiments are stamped in black ink and then cut out with the coordinating die. So the previous card, I used some thin white foam squares to attach my floral images. And then I remembered I have this clear foam that I was trying behind it. Either one is going to work. I actually did not see any of the foam pieces behind any of the elements, whether I was using vellum or acetate. So, I hope that this has given you a really good starting point for using grounding shapes in your own card making. And honestly, once you start using them, you are going to notice them everywhere in cards, in design, in scrapbook layouts, just everywhere. And it really does make a nice difference in how finished and polished your cards look. So, whether you try the rectangle, the oval, or you experiment with layering a couple of shapes together, just give it a try on your next card and see what it does. I think you're going to love it. I will have all of my supplies I'm using today linked down below in the video description and over on my blog. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. If you are interested, here is another video that I think you'll enjoy.